Greetings, and as promised, we're back. My name is Stan Houston. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, a independent internet on-demand radio program, sometimes called a podcast. The Jesus Entrepreneur Experience comes from the Christian Entrepreneur Network, TCENglobal.org. That's TCENglobal.org. And you can find out more about us and what we do and how we're going to be able to try to help you. I told the world that I was going to challenge many people with a very controversial topic. And certainly a provoking, maybe a disturbing question. And it was very simply this. Did the Jesus Entrepreneur business, did they sell crosses to the Romans? Now, what could that be about? Well, it's part of the story and part of my story, and I'd like to share it with you this coming weekend. The program starts right now. And indeed, we hope that you'll take just a few minutes. We usually are between 12 and 20 minutes. That's the best length for what you need to do as I need to communicate what I think is important. Wisdom, insight, and truth to help build my life and my business and to share it with you. And we'd like to challenge you in a way that will hopefully help you. That's what we're here to do, to help you. Well, let's go. Let's get right into it. Okay, here's the deal. I've always been fascinated by the years that we don't and some of the things we don't know about Jesus. You see, the story of Jesus that we have in the Gospels is not a biography. In fact, what it is, it's 4 testimonies. These are 4 writers, 4 disciples, 4 followers who in effect say, let me tell you part of the story. And it simply is part of the story, and it's not to be the full story. It's here to help us know what happened. God came in person to planet Earth, and He did so that you can be fully alive forever. That's what He's about. He's not here to turn bad people into good people. He's not here to save all the situations. He's here to help you become fully alive forever. And there are ways and words and wisdom and paths you need to follow to do just that. Well, we're told He was born. At the age of 12, we told that He was kind of a difficult and precocious child. And then around the age of 30, we believe, He was announced. And His commission and calling was fully clear to Him. And He stood up and told people that all of the things that God had promised for His people, He was it. As later on Pilate would say, behold the man, indeed the man, Jesus of Nazareth, fully the Christ, the promised, the anointed, full of God one, had come to planet Earth. But what did He do between 12 and 30? Well, we can speculate. We don't know. But it seems He was doing carpentry work. Now, that's a very interesting word because many people wonder if it really was carpentry as we know it. Could it be that He was a craftsman? Many people believe that because of the situation there, He was probably more of a stonemason, a builder. And as one of my friends helped me understand really what He was all about, He was the handyman. He was the guy who could come in and fix things. He could repair things. He could build things to make things better. He was not necessarily the builder of new things. He was the fixer and the repairer of old things. Vital skill. When I shared that insight with the handyman, Luis, who lives and helps me in my home, he started to cry. He said, "You mean Jesus was just like me?" And I said, "Jesus was just like us. And in particular, Luis, he was just like you. It seems that perhaps you shared the same occupation." Obviously, it changed much of his life. And I'm grateful for the insight that someone gave me to help him do just that. But what happened? Well, here is what I oftentimes have some fun with. What was it like when Jesus finally gave up his entrepreneurial business? And I bet it was a good business. You know, if he was running a handyman shop, if he was running a construction business, it was probably a family business. Came from his father, something that he did as the firstborn, and brothers and sisters may have participated in it. Perhaps his mother, of course, was part of the family business. As my friend Dave Cale has pointed out, the household of faith is not just your family. In fact, the household is your family and your business. And so his household of faith probably was his brothers and his sisters, and perhaps, who knows, some assistants, some helpers. And I imagine that he was certainly, with that wonderful smile and personality and energy, I imagine it was a pretty good business. I imagine a lot of people knew around Nazareth that if you needed something done, if you needed somebody you could trust who would do good work, hey, the Jesus Company. Hey, the Jesus guy. Look him up. Check him out. He's the one you want. He'll take good care of you. All of those things that we like to hear as businessmen. However, obviously the growing realization that he had to put it away, and in the program in which I talk about that building of his own new company, I kind of imagine what it might have been like when all of a sudden he let the people in the business know that he was not going to be running the business anymore. Well, that's the story we have. Now let's go back almost 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago, and for some reason, and I don't know the story behind it, but I had come out of my shyness thanks to a speech and drama teacher in high school. So when I was in college, I did a little bit of drama work. Now, I wasn't really good at it, but I was okay at it, and I got better at it. And right now, I'm more than an enhanced amateur when it comes to performing and broadcasting and, you might say, acting. I do a lot of it in many ways, with the limited abilities I have. But I was involved in a play, and I can't even remember the full name of it. I think it was called Family Portrait, and I'm not so sure that it was actually a published play. In fact, the drama director that we had was very, very talented at Bethel College. His name was Dale, and it may have been that was written by one of his friends. But let me just give you the essence of the story. The story was about Jesus and his family. Family Portrait. And can you imagine, obviously, Mary, this child, this oldest son, obviously she knows from what happened to her that something is going to change. Something is very different. Something is very unique. And we're told that when he even began to do his work, some of his brothers and sisters thought he was crazy. Can you imagine what it was like? And so the story, the drama is about the emerging of Jesus and the dysfunction, maybe the distress, the wonderment that happened in his family as he began to leave the family business and make his mark doing what God had called him to do. It was a great drama. It was a great play. I still remember it in many, many ways. But here was the kicker. Here was the thing that shocked people at the end of the play. As Jesus announces that he is moving ahead, obviously his family is somewhat disturbed and, in fact, distressed, because what are they going to do now? I mean, yeah, he's the rainmaker. He's the guy who gets out there and gets us the business. What are we going to do? We've kind of just depended on him to bring in the customers and the clients and keep them happy, and it's worked kind of well for us. Now what do we do? And there's more than a little unhappiness from the brothers and the sisters, and worry from the mother about what's going to happen to us now. And the kicker of the story was that just as he's beginning to go, one of the younger brothers comes up and says, "Well, you need to know. I'm working the streets. I'm trying to make it happen. Hey. And I just got a contract. Yeah, just signed a deal. From now on, we've got the contract to build crosses for the Romans." The audience just dropped. Deep silence. The stage went black. We had to think about what we had just seen. And then one of the characters comes out. The floodlight goes on. The spotlight goes on. And she simply says, "And what does this story mean to you? Could it be true? Could it be you?" And we were left with the challenging thought that maybe the very business that Jesus had built, the very family that he loved, was the one who built the cross on which he later died. His own business, perhaps, had sold crosses to the Romans. Just let that sit on your head for a while.
Day by day, day by day, oh dear Lord, 3 things I pray: to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day.
I'm Stan Houston. This is the Christian Entrepreneur Network. The story which we are telling you is simply called, "Did the Jesus Entrepreneur Business Sell Crosses to the Romans?" And that's a challenging story. I'm sure a number of you are disturbed by it. Some of you are provoked by it. Some of you are thoughtful about it. And some of you are just terribly upset at me and the whole idea behind it. There you are. Could it be? Now, here's a little bit of how perhaps it is a story for you and me as an entrepreneur. Are you selling crosses to the Romans? Are you? Let's think about just what that might mean for you and me. You know, when we build a business, we are simply doing things where we have very little impact on how our products and services will be used. We have very little idea of even whether the business will be successful. It's certainly not a secure place to be. We all know that. What was good one year could be a failure and a flop next year. And we know that the average entrepreneur has actually gone through many business failures before perhaps they found that way to success. And so that was the story, that the family of Jesus was able to sustain the early part of Jesus' departure because the Romans did a lot of killing. They did a lot of cross work, and perhaps that was the business the company had. I don't think so, but the story was challenging, and it was just that, a story to make us think. However, I always remember that things like that can happen. And this has always challenged me to think, because just the other day, because I do a lot of video and announcing and commercial work for companies all over the world, not only as a part of the Christian Entrepreneur Network, but like every entrepreneur, I've got side industries and side streams of income that I bring to the marketplace. And I was asked, and I was offered a fairly good remuneration to do a video testimonial for a certain product. And the more I thought about it, now it wasn't something that was blatantly illegal. Of course not. I don't do anything like that, or blatantly bad. But the more I thought about it, I just wasn't sure that I wanted to be a part of that, because there were some things about that and what they were about that might go bad. And not just bad for them, but bad for their clients and customers. And that's when I remembered the story which I just told you. Stan, are you selling crosses to the Romans? Are you doing something that just might be a good business, but not good for you, for the people you serve, the common good, and would it make Jesus smile? You know, Jesus smiles every time you close a good deal. He's grateful and glad for your success. He likes that. He knows what it's like to have to make a business deal and get the business and deliver a good product to the customer and find them happy and well served. He knows what it's like to deal with a difficult customer and then try to act in a responsible and godly way when they betray you or try and cheat you or take advantage of you. He knows all of that. He lived that. And he knows how it feels when somebody in your own company just betrays you. He's been there. He knows that deal. But when you get a good deal, when you do a good thing, when you reflect his own vision of entrepreneurship, I believe he smiles. So, I just want you to think about that story. I don't know what it will mean to you. It'll mean a number of different things to you. But from time to time, it's always helpful for me to remember that 50-some years ago when I played the part in which we somehow challenge people with the question, and I do it again today for you. Are you selling crosses to the Romans? I'm Stan Houston. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, and this is a program just for you. And we are done. Under 20 minutes. That's what we do. Hopefully we do it well. If you'd like to respond, if you'd like to be on the program, if you'd like to challenge me, if you've got some wisdom, would you like to do a podcast yourself? And we're going to be teaching you how to do that. You can do exactly what I'm doing, telling people all over the world stories and ideas that can change their heart, mind, and spirit, and perhaps even be good for business. Stan Houston at RadioEdge77@gmail.com. Stan Houston. RadioEdge77@gmail.com. That's all you need. RadioEdge77@gmail.com or StanHouston@gmail.com. Either one will get to me, and I'll be glad to help you. I'm a business performance coach with over a quarter century of help for you, and we can help you. If this program has been helpful to you, tcenglobal.org/contribute now. And tcenglobal.org/contribute now. May you have a good weekend. May you be challenged. May your business be successful. May your family be blessed. May the very household that you support be honored by God as you honor Him and the people that He loves. Bye for now.